Today, I have very exciting news, which as you can see from the box cover in my hand, suggests that I have some boxes to open. Namely, I have this BookOutlet box to open. About a week ago, I was on BookTube, as you do, and I came across Brianna at Books Before Death's most recent BookOutlet haul. So in Brianna's video, she had a discount link for $10 off of your first book haul. So I did that immediately, even though I really shouldn't have. But what I did end up doing was getting a bunch of books for only like $35. Basically, you can go and you pick out books that are like really, really good books and like hardcovers and everything for like really, really cheap. Because these are like books that were overstocked or just books that like are extra, and so you can get them very easily, very cheap. So without further ado, let's open this box. The box has no box cutter on it. I'm a box cutter anyways. I think it's to make sure you don't accidentally cut your books because they are very tightly packed in here. Like this box feels like it's about to break open, which is cool. I'm excited. I'm really impressed they managed to fit all the books that I bought in one box too. I almost ended up buying more, but I was like really determined to cap myself at I think like $40 because really I don't have any money. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. This is so exciting, you guys. So if some of you watched my most recent TBR video, which was based on bingo cards that I found on Twitter, I'll link it up in the like info box place too. But basically on that list, I made a whole like long list of books that I wanted to read from 3 different bingo cards. One of them was books about Asian characters and by Asian authors. One of them was books featuring a like sapphic main pairings, and then the third one was just like popular YA books. I made that list, and then a few days later I found this BookOutlet option and found that a lot of the books on my list were on BookOutlet. So I'm filling a lot of that TBR already, which I'm very excited for. Even though the point of that TBR was to make a list of books that I wanted to buy but knew I couldn't buy, I found them for super cheap. So the first of them I bought is The Good Luck Girls by Charlotte Nicole Davis. I was really excited about this book. It's a dystopian type book that features 5 girls who are traveling together. They are traveling to get away from being captured because one of them has killed somebody, and then also just like going on a just girl gang quest in a dystopian world, and that just sounds really cool to me. I love female friendships. It's one of my favorite things to read about. So that's one. I also bought Starship by Akemi Dawn Bowman. This is a book about a girl who is, I think, a senior in high school, and she gets rejected from her, like, the school of her dreams. And she's suffering from social anxiety, which I also suffer from, and so the main character of this story gets to go tour art schools on the West Coast, and it's kind of just a story about like self-discovery and also handling mental illness and anxiety, and as someone who also like grapples with anxiety, this was really appealing to me. Also from that list, I bought The Library of Fates. So this is a book that I shouted out in that video. Basically it is about a deposed princess who teams up with an oracle, and they have to go on a road trip. Basically, this is just a book of road trip books, but this book is so beautiful also. Like, the cover is just gorgeous, but also it just sounds like a really fun premise, and I love the idea of them like moving. They're tracking down this library where they might be able to find information to turn back time and like reverse what happened, and so the like deposed princess is trying to go like change her fate, and I'm expecting this ends with her deciding she doesn't want to change her fate after all, but I'm really excited to see how she gets there. So, and then I think this is the last one from that list. I bought The Winter's Curse by Marie Rudkowski. I've heard that this book is handled really well and with a lot of nuance, so I decided to give it a try, even though the premise is a little weird to me because it's about this girl who ends up buying like someone in a slave trade. And then they develop a friendship, I suppose, or probably a romance, honestly, but looks like a romance. But still, it looks really interesting. I'm curious to see how this like heavy subject matter is handled. Okay, I think that's all the books from my original TBR, and so now I'm going to just get into the ones that are left in this box, because there are still more to go. Oh my god, there's so many more. Okay, the next one I bought is The Gosper Mage by Julie Shenarda. Shenarda? Yeah. I really don't know anything about this book, just that it's beautiful and it's about magic, and I just thought it like looked really cool. I'm gonna go in pretty blind to this book because like I really haven't heard that much hype about it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good book, and it just like, it looks really beautiful. The like description is really interesting. It's about like writing. It's got like writing and calligraphy stuff going on, and that's just my aesthetic, so I'm excited about that. Next, a book that's been on my like I want list for a really long time, which is The Queens of Innis Lear by Tessa Gratton. Again, a book about competing royals, which is my cup of tea. It's also like the type of book I write, so it's a retelling of King Lear, as you can probably expect, but like with more focus on like the daughters, and so I'm really interested because I love King Lear as a story and as an inspiration source, and yeah. Next I have Reign the Earth, which is a book I, again, had never heard of until I watched Brianna's video, where she also picked up this book. This is by A.C. Galgan. This is about a like girl in a magic system that is kind of similar to like an Avatar: The Last Airbender type thing, where like she can control the element of earth, and she ends up in an arranged marriage with the king of another like kingdom, and has to navigate that politics and also like her magical powers. So this seems like a younger book, which I'm very excited about. Like the text is bigger and it's just like, it feels different from like, so I'm guessing this is like a younger YA book. I'm not actually sure. That could be completely wrong, but that's just like the feeling of it at least. Maybe that's also because I was just holding The Queens of Innis Lear, which is like a chunky boy. Next, I have Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. I've definitely heard of this book, but I hadn't heard like a lot about what it was about, and then I read the blurb, and it's about like pirates. It's about women pirates, and they're just like girl power and in pirates, and I'm really into pirates, and so this just seems so interesting, and like the blurb on it is sisterhood is survival, and so I know it's again going to be about female friendships and just a bunch of ladies going on a quest together, so what's not to love? Next I have Tempest and Slaughter by Tamara Pierce. I've been really meaning to get back into Tamara Pierce. I read a lot of her stuff when I was in middle school and late elementary school, but I haven't really read a lot of her like older YA stuff. I really just read like the sort of like middle grade books that I read. But I remember really loving them, and so I wanted to give more of Tamara Pierce's work a shot, and so I decided to pick up this one because it is so pretty on the cover, and yeah, I love royals and magic, and I'm very predictable. This whole stack is just the same genre of book over and over again, except Starfish. That one's different. The last book I have is A Shadow Bright and Burning by Jessica Cloas. This is the first in a series as well. This is a book about a girl who's forced to become like a sorcerer in this like royal sort of competition type thing, and they declare her the chosen one, and she's not. And so it's like a kind of flip on that chosen one narrative, and it just sounded really interesting, and I'm familiar with her agent, and he's worked on really interesting books in the past as well that I'm like interested in. I know that's a really weird roundabout way to find books, but like I am so interested in like the books that are being picked up by these really cool agents and people like that, because they must be really good. And so that's like a good indicator for me that a book is going to be good. If I like trust the person who represents it, then I know I'll probably like the book. So that is my big stack. Here it is. Yep. I've got a whole bunch of books to put back in my bookshelf. This is half the reason I redid my bookshelf. If you haven't seen the video where I redo my bookshelf, where I take apart my bookshelf, or where I put my bookshelf back together, I will link those again in the little info box. But yeah, I'm so excited to have more books to read. A lot of these are going to end up on my May TBR, I think, because May is Asian Heritage Month and there is Asian Readathon, and so I wanted to make sure to get some more Asian authors into my May TBR, and so some of these books will feature there, although I do have a lot of books by Asian authors that I already have on my shelves. So yeah, we'll see. I'll think about that in the meantime, but Hooray! Now I'm gonna put these on the shelf and see how they look and get really excited about having more books. Hooray! Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.